All right, and up next we got a rematch. Eryk Anders taking on Darren Stewart. Eryk coming in here with a 13-5 record, 34 years old, 6'1" with the 75-inch reach. The comeback on Darren, 12-6, 30 years old, 6 foot with the 74-inch reach. So these two men just fought 2 months ago. So I don't really see too much of a reason to break down the other fights when we had a good round of action. A little more than a round of action between these gentlemen, just less than 2 months ago. And you might ask, why do we have a rematch if it was just less than 2 months ago? Well, this was before, was this around Aljo time? It must have been right around the Aljo time. So
3 months back.
Darren Stewart got caught with an illegal knee. It wasn't an illegal knee, but man, he should have. He was already losing, they ended up calling it a no contest, and they rescheduled it for 2 months out. And these men are both coming back at it. So Eryk Anders in that fight was pretty much dominating him. He almost had him out of there multiple times. So I don't really see this fight going any other way. Darren Stewart is a good fighter. But I was listening to his interview, and in it, he was pretty much just making excuses, it sounded like to me. He was saying that he was not feeling like himself and had a headache and whatnot, so that's why he was attributing most of that to the loss. So, not a good look for me. We just seen this fight. Eryk Anders was putting on him. I'm not really a fan per se of Eryk Anders. It's not like I dislike him, but just, historically I picked against him most of the time. And most of the time I was right. Sometimes I was wrong, like when you fought Machida. But, man, I just see this fight playing out like the last one just 2 months ago. And in that one, Eryk Anders was beating him at every turn. He was landing the punches quicker. He was he was looking like the bigger man. He was looking like he had the longer reach, and he was using it well. And, yeah, man, he dropped Darren Stewart. And Darren Stewart's known for having a chin. So I have to throw it on Anders, and he's only a slight favorite, so I'd be crazy not to pick him in this one as well.
Yeah, these two are, as far as size-wise, they're pretty much the same guy. 185, a 75-inch reach for Anders, 74 for Stewart. Anders also has the 1-inch height advantage, 6'1" to 6 foot. 13-5 for Anders, 12-6 for Stewart. So these guys it is pretty even. Anders, coming back strong after a 1-4 stretch that had him on the chopping block, and then he had a pair of wins against Marrera and GM3 upon his return to middleweight. These two, haven't been in there together before, which just ended in a no contest as he was speaking after he landed that illegal knee on Stewart. Stewart, on Stewart's side, he has 8 finishes to his record, and 7 of them are by knockout. Anders was looking great in that first meeting that they had, though, and he did almost have him finished prior to the knee. He dropped him. He was hitting him with clean shots. It was arguably ref could have stepped in there and finished it. But this time around, I do think Stewart is going to be in a better place. He is a resilient guy. He does have power in his own right, and has me thinking that the tide might turn this time around. But look for Anders, the former football player, to blitz early. And if he doesn't get him out of there quick, I do see Stewart, hanging around and possibly getting the W in the later rounds or by the judges. So they have Anders at -155 and Stewart at +125. If you watch the fight 3 months back, you're gonna be like, dude, Anders is gonna kill this guy. But I'm just on Darren Stewart on this one. I have a feeling he's gonna pull it out, and I'm gonna ride with the dog.
Yeah, I couldn't. I gotta just go by what we just seen, man. And it wasn't like, man, it was just 2 months ago we seen these two fights. So I gotta go with that. And honestly, I'm pretty confident in it. So I look to see maybe Anders in one of my plays later on.